Hey there, it's Keith. How are you doing? I've been working on this, my own take on fruitarianism, which is putting forth on my blogs. I've recorded this quite a few times, and I've come to the realization that this is a very grand subject. And once I start putting it up, I'm going to have, like, I can't even begin to really address this. And even, like, my blogs have been extended to where I'm now allowed to get, like, I guess basically limitless time. You've seen some of my blogs now at 26 minutes. And I do see a lot of people coming in on my blogs and sort of taking each individual episode out of context. I do want to emphasize to you that my my channel is a continuous work. I mean, that may sound like kind of pretentious. I do try to bring in things way beyond health, and maybe for people that have short attention span or whatever, it's just it's too much. But to me, everything in life is connected, and so at no point am I really interested in isolating individual aspects. And so again, I do want to just simply emphasize that this is a continuous work. So once I start this up, I have really personally got to put a lot of effort into getting episodes up every day to really bring across my point of view. Fruitarianism, I've been promising this since back in October, and I've actually been kind of letting this gestate in my mind. I don't really take notes too much. I did take some notes on some of my stuff that I was doing as best of 2010, and then it just seems like I just threw that out. So I really do the best when I do what I do well, which is sort of improvisation. It's the same as my music. So and then just sort of fixing it all in the edit suite. So I was a fruitarian for a long time. So and fruitarians in general, which seems to be a hip thing, and I can just tell you, it is not new. It's not new at all. And I did it for a long time, and I think it's interesting, some of the people that are out there that are pushing this. A lot of them appear to be athletes, durian rider, the live foodist, and somebody else was telling me about another guy that overtook me that I didn't see, and I'm not trying to monitor everything going on YouTube with the wellness thing, and especially not with fruitarianism, because it's something that I left behind a long time ago, and I'm still working on regenerating myself from that business. And so that business, by being like eating nothing but fruit for a long time, essentially the 80-10-10 diet, because I was eating bits of fats here and there, avocados, and the whole mono diet thing. I'm not down with any of that at all. It's just ridiculous. And I will repeat what I said earlier. Just because you can think something to a logical conclusion in your own mind, and you can convince other people that that's true, it doesn't mean it's right. Simple as that. So first I will recount my experiences with fruitarianism, which I discovered fruitarianism in a book called Survival in the 21st Century by Viktoras Kulvinskas. And all the little things that people talk about, I was suckered into the same thing. And I'm telling you, yes, you do get lots of energy, but I do have one thing to say to you guys before you disappear and like leave me all kinds of bad comments and everything, is why don't you get back with me in about, and this is to you 30-something people, because most fruitarians I see are in the 30, 31, 32, 33 kind of thing. Durian riders 30, the life foodist I think is 32, 33. So what I have to say is, do what you want to do, but you get back with me in 10, 12 years and tell me how that diet went for you, because I'll give you a recollection right now of what happened to me. And I was beyond athletic. I got lots of energy from that diet. I ate the whole 30 bananas a day, all that kind of stuff. And it's an easy diet, you know, and I got tons and tons of energy. I was working as a surveyor, and in general as a production foreman, which is a person who works around a lot of heavy equipment. I worked you know, in Southern California with the major development of Southern California that went on in the 80s and the 90s and in the early 2000s, before the whole business kind of took a crap with the economy. But I can tell you that, like, on some of the jobs I worked on, especially I worked in Carlsbad for a year and a half, where we moved 100,000 yards of dirt a day. And I probably walked, climbed up hills, climbed on rocks, you know, it was very athletic existence. Walked basically 30 miles a day. And then on top of that, I was also a triathlete, and being very athletic, working out with weights and stuff like that. And yeah, lots and lots of energy. But I want to digress on one thing that I was thinking about and letting this all gestate in my head. With what I have to say about this and where I've arrived at it, I would like to know why people with these diets and things, why they use the measure of athletic ability that something is working or not. That's a very interesting thing to me, because on this planet, in terms of athleticism, it doesn't appear to me to be one of the things that, like, is the most important things about us is our athletic prowess. Like, yeah, we have these athletes and people here and everybody worships them and everything, but the thing that's amazing about us is our brains, you know, not our ability to duplicate animals, tigers that run fast and gorillas that do amazing amounts of great things of strength, and why when we're deciding if something works or not. I see this all the time. Like, I saw this one guy on YouTube where it was like 50-year-old fruitarian, like, lifting weight. Who the fuck cares? Like, I don't care about that. Like that doesn't mean anything to me. Athletes are like we sit around worshiping these athletes, and it's great. I love sport. I am it's been a part of my life, but my brain and the development of my brain and my intellect and my creativity and you know, my ability to, as an artist, and my interest in engineering and things like that, I you know, again, I've something I don't even talk about is my background in mathematics and stuff like that. And that is what we do on this planet. We're not, like, the measure of our success is not our athleticism. It's like what we do with these brains. With this, like, the whole world that we've created is not from athleticism. You know, it's not what we were put here to do. And from that point of view, this whole worship of athletes that we do, it's like, who the fuck remembers 10 years ago what, you know, I'm sure some trivia person knows who won the Super Bowl, or, but that stuff is forgotten. The great creators of our time, you know, musicians and artists, that stuff lives on. Who remembers who was the great athletes in the 70s or the 60s or thing? But the other thing is, athletes don't even live that long. You know, all your professional athletes, they die at an early age compared to everybody else. So my thing is saying that like, I don't really care what kind of athletic results you're getting, how much you're riding your bike and everything. I've become, you know, I rebound, I hike a lot. I've never had upper body strength that much. You know, my athleticism has always focused around the work that I do. Like just achieving great sports things is like big deal. It's like our whole achievements. Like no athlete is is going to solve the world's problems, you know, at all. You know, the people that inspire, and yes, there is a great inspiration from seeing somebody like do an amazing something in the Olympics, and we all get, and I'm not saying don't pay attention to that, but I'm just saying the weight of like the impact of writing great music, great art, great speeches, studying philosophy, reading books and all that stuff. That's our thing, not like sitting there trying to duplicate the athleticism of animals. That's what animals do. They have great athletic abilities. So anyways, enough again on that digression. So I really thought about that one. It was like, why do we worship athletes? Who cares? You know, I'm more interested in who's done great, amazing things. I want to know more about Ray Kurzweil, or about you know, another great like super intellect I like in the raw food movement is David Wolf. The guy knows about everything under the sun. He's not even it's kind of looking like he's getting a little fat to me, so he's definitely not athletic, but oh my God, his ability to speak and motivate people, and like that's what we do. Not like seeing some fool in the Tour de France. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? You know, it's like, do what we're here for, and that's to use these things here and our creativity. Because again, as I said earlier, the creativity is the only thing that separates us from the animals. Otherwise, we're the same. So, other than in Asia, previous to the Industrial Revolution, all peoples of the planet basically lived to be 40. And not beyond that. That was like the age range. In fact, I think it was kind of like 37 to 40, really. And so what we've done is, in Western culture, and just in the industrial nature of civilization now, all civilizations, be they Asian, South American, is we've extended our life. When you start hitting that age that is more of our natural life expectancy, and we have escalated beyond that in modern civilization, like the things that are important to realize of why we live longer is we're happier. So that's a big thing, and where I realized that the happiness thing really plays a big part in us just like thriving more is I was watching this this DVD with my parents about Bryce Canyon. They had taken a trip up to Bryce, and that's in Utah, and it's these just beautiful canyons and very unearthly, sort of like Martian landscapes with these beautiful way that these canyons have eroded and whatnot. And so the canyons were named after this farmer with the last name Bryce. And somebody asked him about how beautiful the canyon was, and he basically blew that off, and these canyons are very narrow, and he just said, it's a hell of a place to lose a steer in. He was a farmer. So, meaning that there was really nothing pleasant about our lives. Like, everybody wants to get into this, back to the Garden of Eden kind of thing. Like, we once had it made before all of our electricity and our cars and all that kind of stuff, and our computers, and you know, it's just gone onward, and the grass is always greener on the other side. But don't create a grass is greener on the other side with an illusion of that life on this planet in the last few thousand years was once a good thing, because it was hell. Like waking up and like just working your ass off to survive. And like I said, people basically died at 40, you know? And so we've extended our life with happiness, with the major happiness thing that's in there of being, it's so easy to just live in Western civilization now, you know? And just, you don't have to worry about, like, we've gotten so removed from that, here. This is me at 42, which is just 5 years ago. And I think this whole depletion thing starts happening at 45. That was me at 42, and I don't know if it's one of my best pictures, but It's definitely looked a lot more vibrant than I do now, and I'm over that 45 kind of hump now. So that's when I think a lot of depletion starts happening, is at that point. So what I do want to get onto in talking about this is the actual eating of fruit. There's really not a lot of nutrients in fruit, and I don't know where people are coming up with all of this, like, thinking that it's like you think the body makes that stuff? Because essentially, I mean, what's in fruit is sort of potassium, vitamin C, and water in high amounts, and then there's like a lot of vitamin A usually occurs in it, but it's not anywhere near the level of what's in greens and stuff like that. So I do want you to consider something for a moment, and that's like perhaps that we are not designed to eat fruit. Fruit does give you a lot of energy. It is very much a fast burn food, but that's not such a good thing. I mean, getting that energy immediately. I personally am on a zero carb diet. I'm following Truth Calkins on this, and so far I've been having good results, which is basically eating all protein and fat. And I'm not eating fruit at all, and I'm not eating like carbohydrate things and too much in the way of I eat some sprouted grains, and I've moved away from like nuts. I do eat more seeds, things like sunflower seeds. I eat those a lot. But fruit is a fast burn food. Like, I just don't think that we need it. You know, things like insects and birds and things that have these super hyper spazzed out metabolism, I think that's maybe more food for them. So yeah, in the statement of that fact, that I feel that there's no feel about it. Fruit, carbs are fast burn food. Proteins and fats are slow burn food. So in saying that, I want to quote from the movie Blade Runner, which basically, as you know, if you've seen it, it's sort of the saga of a few man-made robots which had a very short expectancy of life because they were basically built to operate at a very high efficiency very quickly. And so when Roy, the robot, android, as it were, a biological machine, but created, when Roy caught up with his creator, he said, "I want more life, fucker." And I'm paraphrasing. And here's the simple statement that I have to put out to all you people that are thinking that you're getting a lot of longevity out of this fruitarian diet, because what Roy's creator said to him is the light that burns twice as bright lasts half as long. Simple as that. But almost all the systems agree that eating less equals a longer life. There's like no doubt about that. That's pretty unanimous. From all of this is in the short term, and the world does seem to work in this very immediate kind of a way, you know, where it's like nobody really has a memory like -5 years or a sight ahead that seems to be much more than +5 years. And I guess it's the world that we live in. It's very fastly changing and things like that. And I do need to emphasize to you, a lot of you 80-10-10ers, you think this is like a new thing. It's not a new thing. And I do want to reference the scholarly work of Zach, Secrets of Longevity, who's done extensive research into fruitarianism with much more sort of historic research, looking into people like Arnold Eberhart and Herbert Shilton, who wrote books and who had concepts, but the sad thing about it is nobody reported where these guys wound up. And I can tell you that in my experience, fruitarianism did give me a lot of short-term gratification. It's very easy You know, you buy a pile of bananas, peel and eat. How simple. How awesome. You know. And in saying this, I have to say that I personally am against almost every aspect of where fruitarianism comes in. The mono diet concept, in my own way of thinking, especially with my lifestyle. I was very athletic in my early 30s, and I do just find it very ironic that a lot of people who are like really hip on the fruitarian things appear to be kind of 30-something. Like everybody, like anybody I see that leaves me comments on my blog, I immediately click over to their channel, look at their age, and I always see 30, 31, 32, 33. Never anything like that. So the awareness that I want you to have of fruitarianism and where it failed with me is it worked for a long time, and then in the long term, it wound up depleting my body, or not having the presence of good fats. Fats are basically Jing foods, which build the body, build the kidney, build that what the Chinese call Jing energy. And so what happens when that starts depleting is it sort of starts depleting, and this is not an immediate thing. This is a long-term thing where it's just like, look at these pants that I'm wearing. I never had the awareness of any of these holes coming into these pants. They just, after long term, they all of a sudden became worn. And so I can tell you with what I'm talking about is I don't think there's going to be a day-to-day awareness with this depletion of the core, what the Chinese call Jing. So what happens is all of our hormones, all of our endocrine system, all of the chemicals that work in the body with the brain, with the abdominal brain, and that's another thing that a lot of people are not necessarily having an awareness of, is that there is a brain in the gut, which helps with serotonin, dopamine production, and all that kind of stuff. And this is really not so much, my blogs are my experiences, what I have. Like, I wish that some of these people would like do the same thing that I'm doing. I go over and I look and see what people's age is, and I'm not trying to say that, oh, don't listen to somebody that's under 30 or whatever. All I'm saying in the pushing of this concept coming out of me is that if you're gonna follow something extreme, and fruitarianism is extreme because there's really nothing in fruit but water, vitamin C, potassium, barely trace minerals, not near as full spectrum as dark leafy greens, fats, proteins, animal products, animal flesh. Again, I know people are getting short-term results from this fruitarian thing, but when you extend this beyond, and I was the same age as all you athletes and people where I was living a very athletic existence and very much getting a lot of energy out of it, but then as I reached my late 30s, and I was really not eating a lot of coconuts, a lot of coconut butter, a lot of what I call sort of exotic fats that you've heard me talk about. And one thing that was real obvious that was going wrong was I was arrived at erectile dysfunction. And as soon as I started correcting this problem with getting into the fats, getting into proper proteins, being aware of the Chinese idea of Jing, things really started fixing themselves.